How's it going, everybody? Josh Phillips here from Spawn Fly Fish. Today we are going to prepare for another season of fishing off the jetty here in Washington. We hope you guys love this. We hope you guys come down and visit us and fish the jetty. And we have tied up a variation of this pattern for freshwater, but we're going to make this very saltwater specific. This was hands down the most productive fly that we used last year off the jetty, and I hope you enjoy. If you do, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and thanks again for tuning in. All right, we are back and we are going to get after this. So we've had a lot of questions about the jetty here in Washington, and today we are going to show you exactly the fly that we recommend. This pattern is one that we used a lot last year, and we fished the jetty a lot. This fly is for rockfish off the jetties in Washington State. Before we get after it, I'm going to explain what we got in the vise. So we have an FW551 from Arex. We have a 7.5 millimeter slotted tungsten football bead, and we got some lead-free wire wraps that we're going to use to secure this bead. So we will push those lead-free wraps up, and with that, the stage is set for this fly. So we are going to take our thread and secure those lead-free wraps and really secure the bead. And it is important that you secure the bead. This is a fishery that is not kind to flies. Your back cast, dragging them over the rocks, snagging them up on barnacles and seaweed, you name it. This fly will be tested. Alrighty, so the first material we're going to use here is the modeled Galaxy mop chenille from Hairline. We want about double the distance of the hook. So that right there is going to do it. We are going to turn our vise around and tie this onto the bottom. And when we tie it onto the bottom, be mindful that you want it to go a little bit onto the curvature of this hook. So when it's moving in the current, it's really going to stand up and kick around. And those rockfish will come out of the rocks here and gobble it up. This is a barbless hook. You can use a barbed hook. These are a species that's they're going to swallow this fly. It's not a short strike species. So a barbless hook is not going to really impede your ability to land these fish. I use both barbed and barbless. Today we were just tying with the barbless. So the next material here is we're going to start stacking some Spawn semi-seal, and we're going to work our way up the shank of the hook. So we have our shrimp orange blend in the Spawn semi-seal. All of the shrimp blends will work fantastic. I am very particular to it being a shrimp colored fly. I did spend a lot of time out there, and spending a lot of time on any water lends yourself to trying a bunch of flies. And I tried a ton of them. And this is hands down the most productive way I found to catching this species. So we're clump and dumping here. You can use a dubbing loop and work your way up to about 4 millimeters behind that bead. I don't know what the conversion is, but we work in millimeters a lot for fly tying. So if you think about like a 4 millimeter living eye, you can think about it fitting right behind there, and that's where you're going to stop with the semi-seal. Loose wrap, tight wrap, all the while maintaining a even distribution and veil it back. Usually 3 sets of the semi-seal is going to do it here. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is a fly that you want to be able to tie a bunch of. I would not recommend going to the jetty with 5 flies. I would say that it is a 10 fly trip minimum. If you only have 5 flies in your pocket, you're not going to be fishing as long as you'd like. All right, so lining up those fibers again. Here, working them around. Loose wrap, tight wrap. And veil back. Once you get good at this pattern, this is a 5-minute pattern for sure. So we got all that semi-seal on there just the way we want it. And now we're going to add some Chacon crusher legs here. I like to use 2. You can use more than that. 2 works fantastic. I haven't noticed a huge increase in productivity from having 2 legs to having a bunch of them, which I did try. 2 seems to be the magic number. Alrighty. And you want those legs just a tad bit shorter than that Galaxy mop chenille off the back. All right, so we got those tied in here. And now we're going to use the last material of this fly. We're going to use some Hairlines Spawn Fluorescent Southern Peach Schlappen. This is a collaborative product we did with them, and it is amazing. You could also use a hen saddle feather here, but I'm looking for a variation here in the length of the fibers, so I will use some of these short ones to start and have some of the longer ones as we finish. And peach hen saddles are generally a little bit harder to come by. We have a lot of this Schlappen, and it works fantastic. Alrighty. All right, we're gonna see if we can train those fibers to turn the way we want it to, and we are going to wrap that feather. Make sure those first couple don't get stuck. That's generally what happens if they're going to. Somewhere Pete's watching this, cringing at my ability to wrap feathers. And we gotta get in there here, continuing to work our way up. I just didn't want to take. Alrighty, we're gonna hold those back just a tad here. And even if you wrap a feather as poorly as I just did, you can come up with a pretty nice fly here. I'm gonna add a little Zappa gap here. And I like to do this on this fly. It's gonna get a really good distribution of some really strong stuff in there. And that is going to secure that. This is a fly that does need head cement. Be sure you do that because this area is going to get impacted. All right, the final step here is we're going to take that tail and we're just gonna burn it down just a little bit. And you can taper it a little bit if you want, give it a little bit of lifelikeliness to the end of it, but that is just to ensure that it stays together as it gets chewed on by these rockfish that come out of the rocks. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this. That right there is a quick and dirty and most effective fly that I have found to utilize off the jetties here in Washington State. If you have any questions, be sure to leave it in the comments section below. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much.